But I want to say to anti-trans activists, I want to end by talking to you. I'm not talking to those who are confused or have concerns or all the rest of it.
You're not talking to activists who have concerns, so you're not talking to anyone.
I'm talking to those for whom this has become an obsession.
Those are the ones with the most concerns.
The lives and existence of a tiny minority has taken over your lives.
We can't care less about the life and existence of anyone, as long as they don't troll our lives and existence, as women and as same-sex attracted people, and the lives and existence of children. If trans are a tiny minority, why are you spending your supposedly precious time with it? And why do we have to see it everywhere, like we live in a fundamentalist, theocratic, religious state?
I can see it from your Twitter feeds. It's the only thing you talk about.
Yeah, some of us don't have the time to intersperse our Twitter feeds with desperate sad attempts at thirsty trapping or utterly misinformed attempts at virtue signaling.
If an asteroid was about to hit Earth, a lot of you would just be frothing about trans people.
If an asteroid was about to hit Earth, you and your TRA mates would be frothing about the imminent trans genocide. I don't even say you would be making it about trans and yourselves, because there is no imminent asteroid and you already are.
Now, you're going to lose.
If you say so.
Comprehensively, you're going to lose. And actually, a lot of your anger and fury and bile,
says the angry, furious, bileful gerbil,
is driven by the fact you know you're going to lose.
No, the anger is driven by the destruction of women's rights as a sex class. Your fury, on the other hand, if you're winning, if you're so sure you'll prevail, why is it? Chill down, sweetheart. No one likes a hysterical man.
I know a lot of you are like millenarians, because you are essentially a cult.
The cult of reality, where everyone is free to research their own materials, no one asks for the cancellation of the heretics, and the Kool-Aid has only coloring and sugar, no poisonous hormones. Did you Google millenarians? Millenarianism or millenarism is the belief by a religious, social, or political group or movement in a coming fundamental transformation of society, after which all things will be changed. Sounds like your movements, dude. Critics of the trans ideology are 100% certain that nothing will change. Men will always be men, women will always be women, regardless of the ludicrous laws you manage to pass. The only thing passing here is laws, by the way. Your movement is the one believing that once the laws pass, everything will change. Once you take hormones and or have surgery, or simply once you declare yourself trans by the power of the holy trans sacredness, you change into the opposite sex. Your movement is the one saying that non-binary bodies are sacred, trans bodies are sacred, and some other far-gone cultish claims.
Who believe that what you call trans ideology will one day come crashing down like a pack of cards.
Not one day, no. 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes of the slightest examination for trans ideology to come down like a pack of cards.
And that you'll get some final vindication and absolution.
Absolution? What on earth are you talking about?
But I'm going to tell you now, it's never going to come.
Good, because we never ordered it. There's no vindication or absolution being ordered at all. Law may be enforced for centuries saying that trans are superior to the rest of us or whatever, or that men who claim they're women are in fact women, or that children who don't enjoy the quote-unquote gender-appropriate things need to go on meds lest they off themselves. And while this happens, there will always be people fighting for justice for women and protection of children. No one is asking for absolution. Do you know what absolution means, Owen? You're a journalist, you should know. To me, it looks like you're just using fancy words for the sake of it without even knowing what they mean.
And do you know why? Because however much you howl and froth and spread your bile and your hatred...
Ooh, really looks like you're winning there, champ. Needing to publicly paint religious dissenters, people who say trans women are men, as frothing haters.
You are never ever going to be able to wish trans people away.
No one wants to wish trans people away. Trans atheists just want trans ideology not to be enforced into law and schools. Preventing blokes in wigs from undressing in front of women, from watching women undress, is not wishing trans away from existence. It's simply wanting men away from the female dressing room. Why are you so invested in having men undress in front of women, Owen? What's in it for you? Just a brotherly support of your fellow man, or is there a hint of sick perversion too?
Trans people are always going to exist.
But always, always. I mean, as long as homophobia exists, porn exists, and women achieving the liberation from the patriarchy exists, yeah, there's always going to be people who either believe their soul or their child's soul inhabits the wrong body, or who get off on the degradation of women, even if they role play as the woman, and the destruction of women's rights. As long as Big Pharma profits from it, there's always going to be a mainstream push for trans ideology. Then, yeah. And that's why we're fighting these things. These are the things we're fighting. Are you pro these things? Of course you are.
That's your only contribution on this planet.
What is? That trans people will always exist? I'm lost here.
We all have a choice, don't we?
Yeah. You can choose to love yourself for who you are, or you can choose to try and demand everyone sees you as the opposite sex because you hate yourself. It's pretty clear what choice will have an easier and happier outcome.
We have a choice in terms of how we live, the very short window of life that we have on this planet.
You spend yours trying to vilify those who oppose delusions. You spend your short window of life you have on this planet trying to bully and shame people into agreeing with you or being silent. But yeah, do you. Your choice, I suppose.
And for some of you, you have chosen to use that short time you have on this earth to make the lives of a vulnerable minority harder.
What vulnerable minority? What vulnerable minority is allowed to sing about how they're much better than real women, all naked on stage, banging on the keyboard with their penis, in prime time on national TV, and cancel events and fire people and get people banned from social media? What vulnerable minority are you talking about now? Because these people we've been talking about so far are definitely not vulnerable.
And you will realise that actually, you're not going to win this.
Is this one of those mindset guru affirmations you tell yourself in front of the mirror every morning, Owen?
That actually the tide of history is moving against you.
Stop self-gaslighting, Owen. That's bad for you.
Trans people will be accepted.
Trans people are already accepted. They're the mainstream. Get on with the program.
The laws will be reformed in ways that you fundamentally oppose.
Well, laws change. That's human history. You can fight for them or fight against them. Slavery was within the law at some point. You see Sharia law? It's a law in some countries. Is it any sort of advancements in history just because it's a law?
And the consequences, the fear-mongering about what the consequences of those laws will be disproven.
What, by the Ministry of Truth? You're gonna start burning newspapers and articles that already exist proving that the consequences are real. Where did you get your journalism degree, Owen? Did you find it in the bin?
Just as those who spread fear about introducing or repealing anti-gay laws.
Fear about repealing anti-gay laws. Be afraid. They may end the anti-gay laws we have in place. What anti-gay laws do we have, Owen? Which of those imaginary laws are in danger of being repealed?
They didn't get vindication. They were proven to be wrong.
Oh, but many of these anti-gay zealots are still trying to get vindication, though, by transing gay children. That's gender non-conforming children who will likely grow to be gay adults.
You will be damned by the history books for what you've done.
Even those who opposed gay laws are nowhere to be found in history books. Everyone forgot about them. That's the dumbest possible way of terrorizing people into compliance. You're failing miserably at it.
And that, I'm afraid, is the only contribution that you have made.
Oh, so this is what you were referring to when you said that's the contribution. So be it. It's going to be a great contribution, saving women's rights and protecting children. I wish the name of every single woman and man who did anything to oppose harm against women and children do appear in history books. How can we arrange that?